Hey everyone, Ranger William here from the Overmountain Victory National Historic Trail. I'm sitting here in my dining room surrounded by my blue and white decorations, bringing you this video about a interesting signer of the Declaration of Independence. This is part of a series being done by the SOCA Parks, the Southern Campaign of the American Revolution Parks Group. And we've done videos like this before where we discuss pivotal battles or significant military commanders, but with this being Independence Day, we wanted to bring you this little more focused topic instead. Now, my choice for the signers of the Declaration is Edward Rutledge. Now, Edward Rutledge, prior to doing the research for this video, I knew very little about him. Pretty much I had seen him on the John Adams miniseries and thought he was an interesting character, so I chose him, dove into more research, and turns out I was right. This guy was very interesting to research and learn more about, and I'm excited to share with you what I found. Now, in 1749, he was born into a wealthy slaveholding family of the Charleston elites. This is going to be a social circle that Edward is going to marry into and work alongside for the rest of his life. Now, eventually, he would personally hold over 50 black men and women in slavery, and likely he grew up hearing stories of the Stono Rebellion, which happened in South Carolina, the Charleston area, just only about 10 years before he was born. And these experiences of being a slaveholder, of hearing about the slave rebellions, this is going to very much shape his worldview, including later on when he's in government, his opposition to allowing black men to serve in the Continental Army. He was very opposed to that idea. But as a younger man, his education is going to be one of the best that money could afford. I mentioned that his family is of this elite plantation-owning society. The Rutledges, the Middletons, the Boones, the Draytons, the Pinckneys, the Rice Kings of the Charleston Low Country. He's right there with them. As a young man, he's going to be sent to attend college, go to school in London at Oxford, where he's going to become a lawyer on July 3rd, 1772, passing the bar exam at Middle Temple University, same as his brothers John and Hugh had done. And Edward is the youngest of these seven Rutledge kids, so he's really kind of following in their footsteps, kind of a family tradition. Now, in 1773, he's going to have returned to Charleston, South Carolina, and start a law practice at only 23 years old. So here is a very young, politically involved man at a time when politics are really hitting a boiling point between the colonies and the mother country of Britain. In fact, one of his first cases is going to get the attention of the local Whigs, what's going to be patriots, when he successfully defends Thomas Powell, a newspaper editor, for printing things that were not so great about the colonial legislature. He successfully defends Powell and makes a name for himself for being a great orator and a very skilled attorney. In talking about the ruling plantation families of Charleston, his law partner is Charles Cotesworth Pinckney of the Pinckney family. So there's a major connection there. And just that one next year, 1774, Edward Rutledge marries Henrietta Middleton of the Middleton Plantation Middletons. So that's going to be another connection there. So it seems everywhere you turn, Rutledge's life experiences are making him kind of a great representative of the Charleston plantation elite society down there. Now, when he does step into government, it's when he gets involved with the Continental Congress, he's going to be sent as one of the South Carolina delegates, along with his older brother, John, Christopher Gadsden, his father-in-law, Henry Middleton, and Thomas Lynch Sr. These are going to be 5 delegates sent by South Carolina. Now, by the time the question of independence comes around, Edward is kind of thrown into the driver's seat a little bit. He's gone from being one of the youngest, most junior members of the delegation, but through his known skills as an orator, through his role in government up to that point, he's kind of getting a lot of increasing respect. And when the time comes to decide on Richard Lee's proposal, his resolution of independence in June of 1776, when it's first proposed, Edward is kind of having some more power. Both his older brother John, Christopher Gadsden, Henry Middleton, they've all left the Continental Congress due to business. Thomas Lynch Sr. is actually incapacitated by a stroke, and so I don't know if there are any other members who are sent to fill those chairs, but it comes up to Edward Rutledge to kind of make the call for, or at least be the leading voice in South Carolina's delegation. Now, he has been a proponent of independence and colonial rights for the entire time here, but he's not sure what to do about this vote of independence. It's not that he's against the idea, he thinks they need to wait. He thinks that they need to secure foreign alliances, see what France and Spain are going to do before they go and cut that tie and really open a whole new phase of the revolution against Great Britain. But when it becomes evident that he is not going to be listened to, that the other colonies are voting yes, they're going to vote yes, he understands they need to have a united front. He actually said for the sake of unanimity that they needed to vote yes. So he requests and receives a one-day delay for the South Carolina delegation. He's able to confer with the other remaining delegates, get them on his side, and they vote yes to this Declaration of Independence, to becoming states united together rather than colonies fighting for their former rights as as a British Dominion. Now, this does not just end his political involvement. He actually is going to be part of a peace commission sent to negotiate with the Howe brothers, General and Admiral Howe. They're on Staten Island in September of 1776. They are unsuccessful at finding any common ground there. But he's then going to turn to South Carolina political affairs. Serves in the General Assembly in South Carolina. He even serves in the South Carolina militia as a captain of artillery, fighting at the battle. There's a few names for it. Come across the Battle of Beaufort, but also the Battle of Port Royal Island. That's going to be in 1779. And then he's also going to serve in the defense of Charleston in early 1780. And when Charleston falls to the British on May 12th, Edward Rutledge is captured. Now, he's held as a paroled prisoner there, allowed to kind of roam about the city until it's reported that he was actively stirring up resistance to the British, which he is then re-arrested and sent to Fort St. Mark in St. Augustine, Florida, where he's held for over a year and finally exchanged in July of 1781. Now, when he comes back to South Carolina, Edward finds that his property has been seized by the British. It's been used for the war effort, and he has no love for the British. He is going to be a very big advocate for pushing the war effort, for confiscating Loyalist property. At one point, he is serving on 19 different committees at the same time. That's how active he is in his political involvement. Now, this is going to continue all the way through the end of the war into the early Republic of the United States, when you have the political parties form between Republicans and the Federalists. He is going to kind of walk the line between them. He's not going to openly support one side or the other, but he's going to view each of their policies, their proposals, for what it actually does, for its merits. He's going to support some Federalist policies, like President John Adams in his opposition to France in the Quasi-War of the 1790s, but he's going to oppose other Federalist acts, such as the Jay Treaty, which is wanting to open more commerce with Britain and more friendly relationships. He's not a fan of that, understandably. Now, his involvement is going to keep going until he's actually elected governor of South Carolina, and that's going to be in 1798. Now, he doesn't live out his term, sadly, but in January of 1800, he dies. Some reports say that it was in his sleep. Other reports say that it was actually from apoplexy when he heard of President Washington's death, that he suffered apoplexy and died right then and there. But he's a really interesting guy. I'm glad I was able to research more about him, especially how here he is, this young, politically active South Carolinian, ended up like I said, kind of leading his delegation on the vote of independence. And on the other hand, he's interesting because he is this embodiment, this representation of the dichotomy of these white slaveholding plantation owners fighting for their independence, a dichotomy that was realized and pointed out by the Loyalists and the British. But I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Edward Rutledge, the youngest signer of the Declaration at 26 years old. And I hope you enjoy the other videos and continue to celebrate this Independence Day. Thanks.